The honest woodcutter and the river's gift in, a verdant valley cradled by towering mountains, where the air was thick with the scent of pine and the songs of sparrows, lived a humble woodcutter named Anil. His home was a modest hut on the edge of a sprawling forest, its thatched roof sagging under the weight of time. Anil was no stranger to hardship. His days began before dawn, his calloused hands gripping an old iron axe as he ventured into the forest to gather wood. He sold his bundles in the nearby village of Kalapur, earning just enough to buy bread, lentils, and occasionally a new pair of sandals when the old ones wore through. Life was simple, and though he toiled endlessly, Anil was content with his lot, for he valued honesty above all else. His father, a woodcutter before him, had instilled in him a single guiding principle: truthfulness is the foundation of a good life. One crisp morning, with the sun barely peeking over the horizon, Anil set out to work by the banks of the shimmering Kalindi River. Its waters sparkled like a sheet of polished glass, reflecting the golden hues of the rising sun. The river was both beautiful and treacherous, its currents swift and its depths unknown. Anil had always been cautious near its edge, but today his mind wandered. He thought of his younger sister, Lila, who had fallen ill the previous week. The village healer had prescribed herbs that cost more than Anil could afford in a month. His heart was heavy with worry, and his grip on the axe was less sure than usual. As he swung his axe to fell a sturdy oak, the blade caught awkwardly on a knot in the wood. The handle, slick with morning dew, slipped from his hands. With a sickening splash, the axe plunged into the river and vanished beneath the surface. Anil froze, his heart sinking faster than the tool. That axe was his livelihood, his only means of supporting himself and Lila. Without it, they would starve. He dropped to his knees at the water's edge, staring into the depths as if willing the axe to resurface. But the river gave no answer, only the relentless rush of its current. Despair settled over him like a heavy fog. He sat on the bank, his head in his hands, muttering to himself, "What will I do now? How will I care for Lila? The axe was all I had." His voice trembled, and the forest seemed to hold its breath, the birds falling silent as if in sympathy. Suddenly, a soft ripple broke the river's surface, and a figure emerged from the water. She was radiant, her form shimmering like moonlight on the waves. Her eyes were kind but piercing, as if they could see into the very soul of the world. Anil gasped, stumbling back. Who are you?" he stammered. "I am the spirit of the Kalindi River," she said, her voice like the gentle murmur of flowing water. "I have watched you, woodcutter, and seen your honest heart. Why do you weep by my banks?" Anil, still shaken, explained his plight. "My axe fell into your river, and it's all I have to earn my living. Without it, my sister and I will have nothing. I don't know how to get it back." The spirit regarded him for a moment, her gaze softening. "Do not despair," she said. "I will help you." With that, she dove into the river, disappearing beneath the surface. Anil waited, his heart pounding, unsure if he had dreamed the encounter. Moments later, the spirit reappeared, holding a dazzling golden axe that gleamed brighter than the sun itself. Its handle was encrusted with jewels, and it looked as if it belonged in a king's treasury. "Is this your axe?" the spirit asked, holding it aloft. Anil's eyes widened at the sight of such wealth. With that axe, he could buy medicine for Lila, repair their hut, and live comfortably for years. But he shook his head. "No, that's not mine. My axe is plain iron, worn from years of use." The spirit's expression remained unreadable, but she nodded and dove back into the river. This time she returned with a silver axe, its blade polished to a mirror-like sheen, its handle carved with intricate patterns. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Again Anil felt a pang of temptation. A silver axe could still fetch a fortune, enough to ease their struggles. But he knew it wasn't his. "No," he said firmly. "That's not mine either. My axe is simple iron, nothing more." The spirit vanished once more into the depths. Anil waited, his breath shallow, wondering if she would return. When she did, She held a familiar, battered iron axe, its handle worn smooth by his hands, its blade nicked from countless days of work. Anil's face broke into a relieved smile. "That's it!" he exclaimed. "That's my axe!" The spirit stepped closer, her eyes now warm with approval. "You are an honest man, Anil," she said. "Many would have claimed the gold or silver to escape their hardships. But you spoke the truth, even when it was difficult. Such integrity is rare and deserves reward." With a graceful wave of her hand, she presented him with all three axes, the iron, the silver, and the golden one. "Take these," she said. "Your honesty has earned you more than you lost." Anil's hands trembled as he accepted the gifts. He tried to speak, to thank her, but his words caught in his throat. The spirit smiled and, with a final shimmer, dissolved back into the river, leaving only ripples behind. Anil returned to his village, the axes carefully wrapped in his tattered shawl. He sold the golden and silver axes in the market, fetching a sum that left the merchant speechless. With the money, he bought medicine for Lila, repaired their hut, and ensured they had enough food for months. But he kept the iron axe, hanging it above his hearth, as a reminder of the day his honesty had been tested and rewarded. Word of Anil's fortune spread through Kalapur, and soon others sought to test the river's magic. A greedy merchant named Vikas, who had grown wealthy by cheating his customers, heard the tale and saw an opportunity. He hurried to the riverbank, clutching an old axe he rarely used. With a dramatic flourish, he tossed it into the water and wailed loudly, hoping to summon the spirit. Sure enough, the river spirit appeared, her expression more guarded than before. "Why do you cry, merchant?" she asked. "My axe fell into the river," Vikas lied, his voice dripping with false sorrow. "It's my only tool, and I'm ruined without it." The spirit dove into the river and returned with a golden axe, identical to the one she had shown Anil. "Is this yours?" she asked. Vikas's eyes gleamed with greed. "Yes, that's mine," he declared, reaching for it. But the spirit's face darkened. "You lie," she said, her voice like a storm brewing over the water. "This is not yours, and your deceit has betrayed you." With a wave of her hand, the golden axe vanished, and the river surged, soaking Vikas and washing away his old axe for good. He stumbled back to the village, empty-handed and humiliated, his greed exposed to all. The story of Anil and Vikas became a legend in Kalapur. Children were told of the honest woodcutter who gained a fortune through truth, and the greedy merchant who lost everything to lies. Anil, meanwhile, lived simply but happily with Lila, who recovered fully. He continued his work, chopping wood with a new iron axe he bought, never forgetting the lesson of the river. Honesty, though sometimes hard, brings rewards that greed can never touch. Years later, when Anil was old and gray, he would sit by the Kalindi River and tell passers-by his story. "The river sees your heart," he'd say, his eyes twinkling. "Speak the truth, and it will give you more than you could ever steal." Moral: honesty is a treasure greater than gold or silver. It earns trust, respect, and rewards that endure, while deceit leads only to loss.